Hello, everyone. Welcome to This Week in Politics. Well, last week I made a prediction that we would pick up between 6 and 8 seats, and we did. Now, if you listen to the mainstream press, they will say that we picked up 4 seats. Let me correct that. They're assuming that when we went into the elections, we had 51 seats in the Senate. We did not. That 51 seats counted Corker from Tennessee and Flake from Arizona. They weren't running again. Those seats were open. We actually had 49. So, and I want to run down the list that we picked up here. We picked up Tennessee and Arizona, so that's 2. Then North Dakota, Missouri, Florida, Indiana. Those are 4 pickups for us. Plus the 2 is 6. We picked up 6 seats. It's a good night. There was a couple of things that I wanted to touch on uh, about the election. These are the seats that I expected us to get. The one that surprised me was Montana. It's my understanding that we've lost that seat. Well, we didn't lose it. It was already a Democrat. I don't know why we lost that seat out there. Trump went out there twice. And just a bit of trivia, there was 11. Now, most people will acknowledge that endorsements mean very little. I mean, look at the race out in Georgia. They had Oprah, uh, Obama out there. They were all they had other people out there endorsing um, that female for governor, that black female. She just got killed. Those endorsements mean nothing, and that's the way most endorsements are. However, when Trump went around and held his rallies, he endorsed 11 people. Of those 11 people, 9 of them won. And of those 9, there were several that were far behind when he came to town. And I want to talk about one of those. I can't think of her name. The open seat in Tennessee, Blackburn, was her name. It was an open seat, and it was between Marsha Blackburn, who's a representative there in Tennessee, and the ex governor of Tennessee, and I don't remember his name. But throughout the election season, he was the ex governor was an extremely popular governor there in Tennessee. My daughter actually lives in that state, and she wanted to vote for him. He's a Democrat, and my daughter's a strong Republican, but she wanted to vote for him because of the good things that he had done while he was governor. And there was a lot of people in Tennessee that felt the same way. And I, of course, had to explain to her why that wasn't possible. But so anyway, he was leading her by up to 10 points throughout the primary. I mean, throughout the race. Trump comes down there. He holds one um, rally down there. She gets a bump from it. She she gained about 10 or 12 points. Uh, so when he left town the next day, she was even to up 1 to 2 points. Okay, that got her momentum going. Now she pulled out all the stops. Now she started campaigning well. She won that seat by over 10 percentage points over him. So just an acknowledgement, and I say that because Trump went to Montana twice to help that female, and I don't know, I didn't follow that campaign close enough. I just assumed we were going to win that because that is usually a Republican state. I don't know if it was a bad person we had running or the person that is up there is just an outstanding candidate. I don't know, but she ended up losing that pretty badly. Another case is in Florida. The governor down there was behind, and so was the ex-governor running for the Senate down there. Trump went down there and did uh, uh, a rally down there, and both of them won, and won rather handily. We're going to come back and talk about a couple of these races later on. But anyway, that's the election results. I said between 6 and 8 seats. We picked up 6. The press will tell you we picked up 4, but they're not counting the 2 empty seats from Tennessee and Arizona. When you factor those in, we picked up 6 seats on the night in the Senate, which in an off election year, that's outstanding. That hasn't been done in many years. Now, we did lose the House, but the Democrats picked up, I think it was 26 seats. They needed 23 to take over. The average lost is between 30 and 70 seats, is what the Empower Party loses as a rule. We lost 26 or 27 seats. Plus, we picked up a couple of governorships. We lost one here in Illinois, but that was anticipated. We had a lousy Republican governor here. The Democrat is going to be worse, but I can tell you that he lost badly here in Illinois. It wasn't because everybody here is pro-Democrat governor. They were voting against Rauner. 2 years ago during the election, I started a hashtag here, and it was "Dump Durbin, Remove Rauner." So this election time, I got rid of the "Dump Durbin" because he's not running this time, and I just had the hashtag "Remove Rauner." Now, after the general election, I did vote for Rauner, and I didn't push getting rid of him, only because he's a Republican, and I know what's coming since they've elected a Democrat. The question isn't going to be whether they're going to raise our taxes, it's how much, and how often. I mean, in this election alone, in Springfield, we've had our sales tax raised twice since the Democrat City Council has come in. And on the ballot this time was a proposal to raise our sales tax yet again a full percentage point and give that money directly to the school district, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And it passed. That is the dumbest thing that people in this county have ever done. A 1% sales tax is a permanent tax, and they use the justification for a building program. So they're getting a permanent tax for a temporary building program. That just doubled the size of any bureaucracy here in Springfield. It's absolutely disgusting in my opinion. But that's what happened here in Illinois. We talked about Tennessee. Arizona, as I sit here and record this, we won, but we're going to get into a story in a minute where that's going to there's some issues there. Before I go any further, I do want to say Happy Veterans Day and a great big thank you to all of our veterans. My dad was in the military and my son was in the military. I appreciate the job that you do, and the reasons that you do it are highly, highly honorable, and you deserve our thanks and our honor. And I'm just sad that the left wingers disrespect you, and especially Obama, what he did to the military, to the pay, to the equipment, to the personnel, to the social experiments he ran in the military, to all of that. I apologize on behalf of Americans. But hopefully Trump is in there. We'll get the social experiments out of there. We'll get the military built back up. You've already got a pay raise, and hopefully we'll be able to get out of the other 2 wars that we are in gracefully, with dignity and with honor, and saving American lives. But once again, on Veterans Day, I want to say thank you. You guys are awesome, and gals, keep up the great work. Okay, so let's talk about attorney generals Attorney General Jeff Sessions getting fired this week by Donald Trump. This is no real surprise. Jeff Sessions has been a thorn in Trump's side all along. The reason he's lasted 2 years is because he was loyal to Trump. He was one of the first one on board. But right out of the chute, Jeff Sessions recused himself from anything having to do with Russia, which meant Rosenstein was free to appoint whoever he wanted, and Sessions couldn't do anything about it, or wouldn't do anything about it. That was the first issue that Trump had. Secondly, Trump kept pushing Sessions to open investigations and prosecute the Clintons, the Clinton Foundation, Obama, the uranium deal with Hillary, the bribery that went on with that, Loretta Lynch, the origins of what I call the P file. Trump wanted all of those things investigated. Sessions came out and in just a off-cuff remark said, "I'm not doing any of those things. I'm not investigating anything. That's below the dignity of this office." Blah 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 blah. Jeff Sessions is a swamp rat, and I don't care how honorable he thinks he is. I don't care how many friends he's had. He was a senator for years. He is a member of the swamp rat in D.C. And he's not going to go after anybody that's in the swamp, and that includes the Clintons, Comey, Rosenstein, the foundation. He's not going to do anything with any of those, and Trump knows that. So he let him stay on. The day after the election, Trump fired him, hired an acting attorney general. Murdoch is his name. And then called Rosenstein into the office and relieved Rosenstein of his authority over the Mueller investigation. Now, that opens up a whole lot of windows. Now, the proper authority for the overseeing of the Mueller investigation is exactly where it needs to be, with the Attorney General. And Murdoch, who is now the acting Attorney General, wrote an op-ed piece a while back saying that the Mueller investigation had gotten way off course, and now he has the opportunity to get it back on course and to narrow the focus. And he better do it quickly, because unless I miss my guess, Mueller is gearing up to go after some people that have nothing to do with Russia and collusion, but just has to do with justifying his position. So if Murdoch can narrow the scope and keep Mueller's investigation on track, this will be over pretty quickly. Now, the anticipated fallout is going to be huge, because as soon as he pulls the reins back on Mueller, what do you think is going to happen? The same would happen with anybody that's getting their wings clipped. They're going to whine and yell and scream and say that Trump is behind it, and they're being shut down, and they're not being allowed to investigate, and the top 10 things you could think, and it'll be a cycle. But who cares? Take the heat, do what you got to do, wield it in, and then on the same token, while that's going on, you need to start preparing and getting a couple of other investigators looking into these other things that have been ignored. The Clintons are still walking around free. I don't understand that. They are a total criminal enterprise. And for the Attorney General's office to ignore that is criminal. So hopefully we're going to get that taken care of. Good. That was a good choice. Now, the Democrats are yelling and screaming about, if anything happens to the Mueller investigation, we are on the edge of a constitutional crisis. Okay, that's a lie. That's what it is. It's a lie. The Constitution is very, very plain. The president is the head of the executive branch of government. The executive branch includes the Justice Department, the FBI, the CIA, the White House. Trump is president over all of it. He can hire and fire anybody he chooses at any time he chooses, and the Constitution is very plain about that. He doesn't even need a reason. They serve at the will and the pleasure of the president. Now, if he does something, it might not be politically expedient, but he has every authority to do it. There's no constitutional crisis here. This is just bloviators out trying to blow this thing up and make it sound worse than it is. It's not. It's it's somebody getting fired or getting their wings clipped or reprimanded or whatever. Whatever Trump decides to do, he has perfect authority to do it. No constitutional crisis. So whenever I hear that, I go, please, please. Okay. Now, I want to go on and I want to talk about this third story. Now, this one just kind of blew up Thursday of this week. And I mentioned it in the intro here as robbery in progress. It is absolutely amazing to me that the Democrats have the cojones to still be counting votes and finding votes on Friday evening after the election on Tuesday. It's amazing, and they're doing it in Arizona and Florida and Georgia. Now, in Arizona, it appears that they have found, it was Wednesday or Thursday, they found 500,000 votes uncounted. Unbelievable. And guess who most of them went for? They went for the Democrat. Go figure that. So it looks like Cinnamon Girl might pull that race out over there, albeit by cheating. Now, I use the phrase "they got Frankened" because you remember when Al Franken, I think, where's he from? Minnesota, Wisconsin, somewhere up there. But he lost the race, and then they had a recount, and he gained a little. Then they recounted some more and some more and some more, and over a period of a few days, he finally somehow got up 100 votes, and then he said, "Okay, I'm a winner. We're done." And there's proof up there that the whoever is over the vote count certifying it was in on it with Franken, and it worked. And he made it to the Senate, which he had to leave in disgrace. But the three winners that we have in Florida, Georgia, and Arizona, they're all three being Frankened right now by so-called recounts, finding votes, miscounting votes, destroying votes. Now, the ex-governor who won the senator seat in Florida, again, I don't remember his name, is a very wealthy individual, and he has hired a set of attorneys from one of the best-known attorneys places in the country. He has notified the police that he wants an investigation. And he has contacted the White House, and Trump is sending down the FBI to investigate with a promise by Trump that he will get to the bottom of the deception, lying, and cheating going on in Broward and Dade County. It's not all of Florida. The rest of Florida, all the other counties are fine. There's no problems in any of the other counties except Dade and Broward. And guess what? They're heavily Democratic. So we know exactly what they're doing. They're manufacturing ballots down there. And I saw a statistic earlier, and I don't remember exactly the numbers, but Broward County had 110% participation rate. Okay, high turnout is considered 50 to 60% in a vote, presidential vote. 40% is considered high in an off-year election. They didn't have 40, 50, or 60 or 70. They had better than 100. They had 110%. That means every qualified voter in Broward County voted. Every single one. Nobody missed. Nobody was sick. Nobody was in the hospital. Nobody was out of town. Nobody died. 100% plus 10% out of who knows where. So we know for a fact, that a minimum of 10% of that vote is illegal. I know, and the numbers know, that another 40% of that vote is highly questionable. If high turnout is 60, unheard of is 70. Let's say it's 70%, and they got 110. That means 40% of the vote in Broward County is illegal. Think about that. So Trump sent the FBI down there, and I don't know who certifies it, but here's another thing. Um, the Constitution in Florida says that you don't have to have the votes counted, but you have to give uh, whoever's in charge of the elections in Florida, when the election is on Tuesday, by Wednesday at noon, you have to give a total number of votes cast in your county. And that number has to go to the state department over the elections. As of Friday night, it still hasn't been done. And you know why they can't give a total number? Because they don't know how many they need to win yet. There's video down there from this election where they're taking boxes of ballots out of the back of a rental truck and putting them into cars so that the cars can go to different uh, county places to be counted. These are all illegal votes. This is a criminal enterprise down there, and I hope the FBI does get it. Now, here's what I think. I think they're not going to find anything because the FBI head, the rank and file, are good people, good, honest, working people. But the people in charge of the FBI, they're all swamp rats. They're all Democrats. They're all lefties. And that's exactly who's doing all of this stuff down in Broward and Dade County. So if anybody gets prosecuted, it's going to end up being a Republican. You watch. Nobody's going to jail over this, and they damn well should. Because what they're doing down there is theft. And not just in Florida. I hope he dispatches them to Arizona and to Georgia. Now, the governor challenger in Georgia, he had conceded. He's pulled his concession back. The person that was running for the Senate in Florida had conceded, and he pulled his concession back. They both know what the Democrats are doing, and they both want to be in position to take it the second they pull one vote ahead. And the people in positions of power, if they're Democrats, I don't know. They will do that. They will wait until their people are ahead, and then they will certify it, and then it'll be a court challenge. So a lot of nasty things going on in these three cities. I kind of a little bit blame in Florida anyway. I kind of blame the senator to be down there because everybody knows that Broward and Dade County are crooks. They did it. I mean, that's where we had the problem in 2000 with W. The only reason that we didn't have a problem with Trump down there is Trump had won by so much they couldn't possibly manufacture that many fake ballots. And so here we are again, and they're manufacturing all of these things, and he had nobody down there watching. It's going to get to the point where they're going to have armed guards, and they're going to have to just block, by Wednesday at noon, we're done. We're not accepting anymore. I don't care where you find them. I don't care if you find 10 million of them. We're not counting one. We're not accepting one more. And have armed guards standing there to make sure that no more are accepted. That's the only way this is going to be fixed because crooks are crooks and they will find a way to cheat. So put armed guards on them. No more votes taken in. No more ballots, period, by Wednesday at noon. If you can't, okay, now I used to be a poll watcher, okay? There are guidelines, and you go through this. Now, I want you to think about this. You have a room, an auditorium, and you have tables set around with paper ballots. These paper ballots go into a machine that are counted. They go into this box, and the box is huge, okay? Even if you have to change the box, you pull the box out, You put straps around it. You have two people initial it. You set it to the side. You put another box in, and boom. At the end of the night, you have two people take those boxes, put them into their vehicle, and they follow each other to the county seat where they're counted. It takes 2 or 3 hours total from beginning to end. If you follow the rules, how is it possible that 4 days later you're still finding votes? It's not possible unless you're cheating. Unless you're cheating. So, by saying Wednesday at noon, we're not taking any more ballots, that's being kind. It should be Tuesday at midnight, we're done. I mean, how long does it take to get from the furthest point from the county in the county? You can drive any county in this country in an hour, one into the other. There's no reason in the world why it shouldn't be Tuesday at midnight. But just for the sake of mistakes happen and stuff happens, Wednesday at noon. And we're not taking any more ballots. I don't understand. I mean, I do. It's crooks. They're all crooks. And it's sad that they've bastardized our elections this way. And but it is what it is, and hopefully we'll figure it out. So you say, well, why are they going to this much trouble? Well, because we won the Senate, and the liberals never win with laws because the laws that they want are usually unconstitutional. I mean, look at the immigration thing. Okay, so they rely on the judiciary to legislate from the bench. That's why they got so upset with Kavanaugh. Now, they overtook the House, but they're not going to write any legislation that's going to go anywhere because we've got the Senate. So, uh, and they have nothing to do with the judiciary in the House. That's all in the Senate, and they know that. And we widened our lead up there by 4 votes. So now we have a 55-45 majority in the Senate. We can do anything we want with judges. They can't stop us. And they know that. So now they're going to go after 3 of the 4 that we got to try to whittle those down. If nothing else, even if we end up keeping those seats, it's going to be locked up in a court battle for a while. So the seats will remain empty till the court battle is settled, which they will drag out forever. And in the meantime, judges are not being fulfilled. Now, is there a way to fix that? I don't know. I think it's criminal. I think the Democrats are liars and weasels. And if you are a mainline Democrat and you're supporting these people, you need to pay attention to what's going on and stop listening to PMSNBC and the Clinton News Network and start paying attention to what's going on, because you're backing criminals and liars and cheaters. And they're doing it out in the open and inciting violence, by the way. We're going to talk about that next week. But anyway, those are the stories I wanted to talk about on this program. As I wrap it up, I want to tell you that the Prayer Box Ministry produces both programs that we do, the Right Wing Reverend and This Week in Politics. Go over there and take a look at us if you want to know a little bit more about who we are and what we do. You can find us at prayerboxministry.org. That's org.org. You could go over there. I was thinking about this today. If you went and just listened to our audio Bible, 1 chapter a day, you could do that for 3.5 years and never get a repeat. Then we've got, let's see, coming up a little over 250 shows for the Right Wing Reverend over there. So that's another almost a year. Plus a year of these programs, that's another 50. So you could do something just on those 3 things. You could do one thing a day for 5 years and never hit a repeat. That's incredible. But that website was designed to be interactive. Go over there. We've got blogs over there that we're doing commentaries on the Bible. We got, like I said, the audio Bible. You can join a prayer group. All kinds of stuff to do over there. Go over there and check us out. Prayerboxministry.org. That's ORG. Well, that's a program, everyone. You guys have a great week. I look forward to next week when we can sit down and talk about this week in politics.